You asked me to make this a series, and I am here to deliver on that request. If you didn't already know, I am on a no buy for 2025 for certain categories and on a journey to overall lower my spending for the year. I talked about the reasons why in this video. There's a multitude of them. If you didn't already know that, I think you should hit the subscribe button because I think you'll like it around here. But overall on this channel, I do talk about being anti-consumerism in the name of being kinder to the planet. And in this video, we're going to talk about ways I save money on groceries, but a lot of that has to do with reducing food waste, which obviously means you're spending less money on stuff that you're just wasting, but it's also much better for the planet. Multiple sources have said that reducing our food waste is one of the most important things we can do in our home to help the planet. So in today's video, we're going to go through several of the things that I have started doing over the last few months that have helped me save a lot of money on my grocery bill. Let's do it. So something you should know about me is that if I don't make cooking easier for myself, my brain will convince me that I should just buy takeout. The demons I am trying to fight in my head are against that. My saving money is like, I just need to make things simple and easy. And oftentimes that is the cheapest way to go about cooking anyway. I experienced several traumatic things over the last few years. And then I also just generally have been dealing with some mental health stuff. So cooking for myself and prioritizing that definitely took a back seat, and I'm trying to get back out of that and back into being able to do this. So with all that being said, if you didn't see part one, you might not know all of the lore that you do need to know. So go watch that after this, before this, watch both of them, whatever order you want to do that in. But one of the things I've had to concede is that saving money in the kitchen requires more time. Usually. And one of the ways I'm trying to do this is by making my own pre-peeled garlic. When I actually just need to throw something on the stove, in the oven, I do not want to have to peel garlic. I can put garlic in a press. That is easy enough for me to do on a case-by-case basis. But one of the things I think has saved me the most money on this here journey over the last few months has been just conceding that some things are worth taking your time to do because paying someone else to do them is incredibly expensive. Case in point, peeled garlic. Did I move you to the other side of the kitchen because the lighting is better, or because I don't want you to see the dishes that I am refusing to do behind you? The world may never know. Okay, so on a serious note, one of the things that I have been doing that should seem really obvious, maybe some of this is really obvious to you, but maybe me saying it will make it click, even if you weren't doing it before, but it's paying attention to prices at different places. So for instance, I have a friend who is obsessed with one of the big box membership type stores, and I've never been the type of person to go out of my way to go to something like that, but she loves it, so I went with her. And what I realized is that yes, garlic, for instance, we got this there, comes in huge packs where it seems like you could never get through it, as a family of two especially, by the time it goes bad. So we buy the bag, we split it with our friend, which automatically makes garlic so much cheaper. And then obviously, in order to make it worth it, we have to process the garlic. We have to spend the time, like I was saying, to make sure that we have it ready to be able to use, and then we're preserving some of it in the freezer. But just paying attention to what prices are better in which places is a worthwhile thing to do if you're really trying to be serious about reducing your grocery budget, which I am. So I'm trying to pay super close attention to the way we spend every dollar in our grocery budget. And maybe that's not for everyone. Maybe everyone isn't budgeting on that level of trying to do this, but I am. And so I think it's really important in this case to pay attention to what prices are better where. A few of them came off. This one's completely peeled. So one of the places that I shop for groceries that consistently comes up with the best pricing is Thrive Market. And I've been talking about them for years, been shopping with them for years. Super, super honored that they are sponsoring today's video. And one of my favorite things to make, which feels really easy to just kind of throw anything into, and I kind of always had the ingredients on hand to do it, is lasagna. Well, with the exception of lasagna noodles. I have to remember to get lasagna noodles when I want to make it. But other than that, it's whatever green I have on hand. canned. I always have canned tomatoes, or this is also my favorite tomato paste that I started getting from Thrive Market because it makes cooking, throwing together like pasta dishes, which I make a lot, makes it really easy. And I have an upcycling plan project for these tubes. But consistently, when I look at the prices on Thrive Market compared to the other places that I grocery shop, it is a better deal. So I'm always excited to place my Thrive Market order every month. We're making lasagna today because I am hosting craft night tonight. Thursday is my night to host craft night, so my neighbor will come over here. I am starting on my Earth Month project. I'm really excited. Follow me over on Instagram to see more about that. So I do love Thrive Market for the savings reasons, because it's a good deal, but also because they have a zero waste warehouse. They are a B Corp certification. They have an incredible give back where they give memberships to those who are like less privileged. For example, teachers. Teachers deserve all the praise and help ever. Thrive Market also takes EBT, which really helps vulnerable folks have access to healthy foods. And Thrive Market is working their way towards becoming the world's first climate positive grocery store. So why on earth would I not shop with them instead of some of the giant conglomerates doing pretty awful, terrible things lately, right? This, by the way, is a really good olive oil that I use for, not for cooking. This is more for if I'm making something and I need olive oil on top, like we're just gonna eat it straight from the, not the can, usually it's from a bottle, but they now have can refills that I found on Thrive Market, which I thought was really exciting. And I get something fun to try every month. So I got this soft baked peanut butter oat crust with great filling. I got this because I typically skip lunch, if I'm being honest. I'm not a lunch girly. I hate breaking up my day and taking a break for lunch. So I sometimes just eat something really quick as a snack, and this will be what I try today for my lunch snack. So if you're interested in joining me on supporting a grocery store that is better for people and planet, there's a link at the top of my description to get you 30% off of your first order and a free gift worth up to $60 if you go to thrivemarket.com/Shelby. Huge thank you to them for sponsoring me, because I love to be able to talk about brands that are better alternatives to the things that we are already buying, that are better for people and planet, and also our wallets. So huge shout out to them. I'm gonna put all of this up and then I'm gonna get started making the lasagna so that I am ahead for tonight's craft night. Okay, you may also know that I have been on this like mission of trying to convince as many people who watch my videos as possible that they really need to get more into community. That can mean a lot of different things. I actually have a video planned soon about performative discourse around the word community, but to be fair, it can mean so many different things to so many different people, and I hope that everyone has their own interpretation, but that everyone kind of wades their way into knowing their neighbors, having friends that they can rely on. But the reason I'm bringing that up in this video is because last year I started doing this thing where every Thursday I had craft night with a few of my closest friends, and it was the most incredible experience for so many different reasons. But one of the reasons is, even if we were all having an awful week and didn't make it to make a single other meal like from scratch, healthy for ourselves for the week, we always knew that when it came to Thursdays, we would have that. And that we didn't have to pay a whole lot of money for it because it was like a potluck style. So we would each have to just make like one thing. Usually everybody made something that was pretty simple. And let me tell you, it was so rewarding because it was, like I said, a good meal, but it also made cooking so much less stressful and more affordable because we always had leftovers, but we were each only providing one part of it. As opposed to when I sit down and make a meal, I do like to have multiple parts to it, if that makes sense. That's just how I like to eat. I don't like to usually just have one thing. If I'm making lasagna, I'll do like a salad and maybe there will be bread involved or something like that. And when you're doing that for just two people and you're having to make all these things for just like Madison and me, it's a lot. But when it's 4 or 5 of us, each, someone making a salad, someone making a drink, someone making a dessert, someone making the lasagna, it's a lot less cost to have a really nice meal. So I suggest starting that with your friends, your family, your neighbors, and if you don't have someone to do that with right now, all the more reason to get into community. Also, in my last video in this series, the first video of this series, a lot of you left a lot of really helpful tips for saving money on groceries, saving time, helping my little brain. And I encourage everyone to go read the comments on that video because they're really good. We'll put some on screen right here for you right now. I am going to say that I love reading your comments. I love when you share helpful things. I don't love when you guys roast me for being bad at doing things in the kitchen, okay? My friends have been roasting me about the way I cut a watermelon in a video last year for like a whole year. Okay, I'm not that skilled in the kitchen in all ways. Although in my friend group, weirdly, I am one of the most skilled people in the kitchen, which is interesting. But regardless, don't comment on how I'm cutting my onion. This is very vulnerable for me to be showing you. And we're just all gonna hope and pray that I don't cry because onions really do be getting to my eyes. And with that in mind, one of the ways to save money on food for me, like I said, is to meaningfully prep stuff so that at the end of the day, when I don't feel like cooking, I'm not turning to ordering food, which costs a lot more. Prepping my mirepoix in advance has been incredibly helpful. Right now, my blender is not working. But normally I would honestly just throw everything in my blender and blend it up and then have that in the freezer prepped so that when I want to make a pasta sauce, my mirepoix is prepped. So that's one of the ways that you can kind of spend extra time up front in the kitchen just to make things easier for yourself, depending on what you like to cook, right? I think also getting to know yourself and what meals you like to make is going to help you prep things for that, especially for the meals that you can go to that will talk you out of ordering takeout are really good things to prep. And for me, that's honestly just always some type of veggie pasta. And so having mirepoix ready is really helpful. How many lentils do I need? 1 cup. Also, I know I sent a few of you into a frenzy in the last video for not soaking my lentils. I'll soak them today just for you. Normally, I don't take the time to do that, but since lasagna does take a while, I can indeed soak them until I need them, so we're gonna do that. One of the things I've been trying to prioritize, just to use up everything I have, get the most out of it, is to zest my lemons. Always, even if I don't need the zest right now. Lemon zest adds so much to the profile of a dish, and just juicing a lemon and throwing it away, you're missing out on so much flavor. So I do have to zest a lemon for the sauce I'm making, which makes it just a good opportunity to say, like, use up what you have. And if you're not using it, you can just save it. You can dry it out and then literally like put it in dishes like that. I've been doing that and it adds so much with something you already have. You don't have to spend any extra money to make your dishes that much better. Another thing I've been trying to do is prioritize produce that doesn't go bad so fast. Like I will try to prioritize the produce that lasts a little bit longer when I'm cooking, but I talked about that in the last episode, and then I remembered that I should have also said, you can still buy things that go bad quickly. It's kind of unavoidable, especially if you want herbs or greens or just anything that you like. Berries, my God, they go bad so fast. So when I buy those things, I try to do my best to organize my meals for the week to where I'm eating those things first, right? So if I am buying strawberries because I want to have strawberry with yogurt in the morning or oats or whatever it is, I'm going to eat those things first so that I go through the strawberries before they get bad, and then I will keep the produce that I know will last longer for meals towards the end of the week. If I want to make a lasagna, if I want to make something with like carrots or celery, those last so much longer, so I can make them towards the end of the week. Same thing with like apples, grapefruits, they last so much longer and they can wait until the end of the week. Whereas if I'm grocery shopping on a Sunday and waiting until Friday to eat my strawberries, well, there's a good chance we won't be eating the strawberries. You know what I mean? I try to have a salad every day with dinner. I throw in different things into different greens, but we always have spinach, romaine, and kale around so that I can make that. The problem with that is greens go bad very fast. The recycling truck is picking stuff up in front of the house. It's distracting me. When I'm making my salad, as I'm prepping literally everything else, I will pretty much always give my greens an ice bath. And it changed the game for me for making my greens still be usable. You can always freeze them, and you should definitely utilize your freezer as much as possible. But if you want a kale salad and your kale's looking a little just just give it an ice bath. It genuinely changes the texture completely in like 20 minutes. It's so fast, can revitalize things that you want to be using and you don't want to be wasting. It's like the hands down one of the best tips to save money in your kitchen. If you are throwing away wilted stuff, like if it gets slimy, the ice bath ain't bringing it back. It's a zombie. We can't save her. But if it's just a little limp, not quite zombified yet, give it an ice bath and I promise you it will bring it back. It is life-changing and money-saving. All right, well, now that it is almost time for me to be done cooking and I need to really focus on getting this done before Madison gets home and my friends come over for craft night, let's do rapid fire other things I've been thinking about. We were at the grocery store the other day and we needed a sauce for something, like a dipping sauce kind of thing, a special one. What is it called? Like, it's a mayo-based sauce. I don't know. The plant-based version of those things are so expensive. Honestly, sauces are a lot more expensive when you have them bought, salad dressings, sauces, etc. And when I saw the price tag, I think it was like $8 or $9 and I was like, I feel like I can make that probably with stuff I already have. If not exactly to be the same, it will be close enough. So we ended up not buying it, coming home and putting together stuff that we already had to get something that was really close to the sauce that we wanted anyway. And the lesson I learned there is like make your own sauces. Genuinely, I feel just doing that instead of buying more complicated sauces. Okay, I'm not trying to tell you to make your own mustard and ketchup and stuff like that. But like salad dressings, dipping sauces, hot sauces even are actually really easy to make. I recently learned that it's literally just butter and hot sauce that makes a buffalo sauce. And making it myself not only is cheaper, but it also gives me a lot more control over what I want. It's kind of a game changer. Make your own sauces. And when you're making your own sauces, make them in the jar so that you use up every last little bit of it. That's like a really small thing that you can do to save money. Really, it's just like also helping you save waste. But if you're making like a peanut butter sauce, a mayo sauce, anything like that, make it in the jar so that you're actually using up all of it and saving yourself a dish. That's why I made that sauce I was talking about. I made it in our mayo jar. That way I didn't have to wash another dish. Another thing I've been doing is with like scrap pieces of herbs or even sometimes vegetables, peppers especially, I'll use them to flavor water. So if I'm making a rice or a pasta dish, pretty much just that. I guess sometimes I do it with beans, you can do it with lentils, anything that you're putting in water. You can put in cilantro stems, the little head of a jalapeno, onion skins and all those kind of things. I save the onion skins and stuff to make my veggie scrap broth, but you can also use those scraps to flavor your water, which just adds a little something extra to the food that you're already making for free without having to buy any other spices or spice blends, which get expensive. Also, label your freezer stuff and go through your freezer often. I feel like the freezer is like such a big hack for saving money, like putting things in there as they're going bad, buying things, portioning them out, putting them in your freezer. If you have more freezer space, this is really helpful. We don't have a ton, so I like to stay on top of what's in the freezer and use it up. And also, if I'm freezing leftovers or anything that I'm freezing, put a date on it so you don't forget. Also, I'm really glad that you wanted me to turn this into a series, so I will be. And in the future, my goal is actually to record some of these things that I'm doing while I'm doing it instead of talking through it after the fact. And yeah, I hope you learned something new today. If you did, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. Another huge thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Thrive Market. I love them so much and they genuinely are part of my journey to saving money in 2025. So if that sounds like your vibe, stick around and remember, until next time, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good that you can do. Bye guys.